What's going on, everybody? Welcome back by the channel. My name is Will and you're at WW Mods. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the three different types of controllers that DJI offers for their consumer line of drones. Of course, we're not talking about the Enterprise series or the filmmaking series. We're only talking about the consumer line. You've got the RCN1, you've got the RC, and you've got the RC Pro. I'm going to talk a little bit about all three of those, and I'm going to come down to downtown Winston-Salem, and I'm going to try to see if we can get some shots around the skyscrapers. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to fly around here. There's a lot of geo zones, so I don't know what I'm going to be looking at, but I'm going to drive down. We're going to take a look, see what we can find out. So guys, if any of that interests you, like I say, I'm going to talk about all three of those controllers, and you know, to be honest with you, none of them are perfect. So I'm going to explain, so stay tuned. All right, everybody. Told you we were going to talk about the three controllers that DJI offers for its consumer line of drones. We're talking about the Air 2S, the Mini series, the Mavic series, and I'm going to start off with the pretty basic RCN1 controller. You have to apply your phone to the top of it, and fits in this little cradle right here. Your antennas are up here on the top. The range on this thing is fantastic, phenomenal. I really have, the battery life lasts forever. And I really don't have anything bad to say about this controller except for one thing. You have to use your phone for your screen. And if any of you guys out there have an iPhone, you're gonna know what I'm talking about right here, because when you put the phone in, the phone gets hot. The first thing the iPhone does, it dims its screen to try to save on the heat. All right, and what does that do to you trying to fly? It makes it miserable, miserable. So if you're gonna use one of these, I recommend that you use a Galaxy, Samsung, an Android phone that does not dim its screen when it gets hot. And this will be an excellent remote. Sure, you don't have some of the customizations that you do on a couple of the other remotes, but as far as range, hey, you can't beat this guy. And I can't say really, other than the screen, I can't say anything bad about it. Now, let's move up to the RC. You notice the RC's got a built-in screen, and that's all great, fine and good. 700 nits, it's okay. It's better than a phone if you're using an iPhone especially. And I'm not trying to knock iPhone users, so don't everybody jump on me, but it's the truth. You put a iPhone on this baby right here, and you try to keep that screen bright, it's gonna dim on you every time. And it's gonna dim so bad, if you're out in any kind of sunlight whatsoever, like I am this afternoon, it's going to be miserable trying to fly because you're not going to be able to see what you're doing. Now, here comes this guy. For the money, you can't beat it. It is 700 nits of brightness. Hello, bird. 700 nits of brightness, and customizable buttons on the back, on the top, scroll wheels. Pretty much do anything you want to do with this remote. But there's also one problem with this remote. And this is going to be kind of like a series of problems with each one of these, and I'll get to that in a second. You notice there's no antenna. The antennas are built in. So you've got one transmitter and two antennas, and they're all built in here. And when you're in a setting like downtown, you've got these large buildings and parking decks and all this concrete. Struggles from time to time. As far as the range, if you're out and you don't have all these obstacles, all the radio interference, all the different Wi-Fi signals. Oh, somebody getting it down the road there. Sounded pretty good. I don't know if you guys could hear it or not. But struggles a little bit when it comes to range. And 700 nits is okay, but I like a bright screen. So for the money, I mean, I think this one runs around $150, and you can't even buy this one from DJI. You have to get it from a third party. And this one is you can get from DJI, and it's also I think $399, $309. I'm not sure the price at the filming of this video, but it's almost double price of this one. But you do get the screen. It will not dim. 700 nits of brightness, pretty bright. No real problems as long as you're flying in a relatively less cityscape area. You shouldn't have really any problem with this. And I'm not saying you can't fly here. It's just you'll notice if you fly behind the buildings or drop down below and try to get a reveal shot, you'll notice that the signal will drop out from time to time. Now we're going to move over here to this big boy. This is the RC Pro. I love the build quality on this controller. It definitely feels beefy in your hands. It's similar to the N1. This right here is really light. It's great ergonomics, but it's really light. This one here, you can definitely tell that you got some more weight involved. It also has antennas. It's got two transmitters and two receivers. So basically 4 antennas and 2 transmitters. So theoretically, this one should be the one that gives you the best signal, right? Well, not quite. And I don't know why that is, but not quite. The one good thing that I do like about this remote, 1,000 nits of brightness on the screen. Super bright screen, 1080p, fantastic. Love this remote. I just wished it had the range of like the RCN1. I don't know, because we're talking $1,100 for this remote, okay? Roughly $300, roughly $150. Over $1,100. This should be the Mac Daddy. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, it doesn't have much better range than this one right here. So really what you're doing, you're getting a couple of options in here. You get HDMI out. You've got internal storage where this one does not offer it. You get a brighter screen. I mean, it does have its advantages, and it feels a lot more, the control sticks on this unit is a lot better than the control sticks on the other two. It feels a lot more premium. The whole controller feels premium. I mean, it ought to for what it costs, but I just wished it had a little bit of better range than what we've got. So today I already know what the other two remotes can do here. So I'm going to try to break out the new remote here and see how much range we can get out of the Mavic 3. So guys, let's get the drone up in the air. Well, everybody, it looks like I'm gonna be bringing her on back because I've done about all the flying I can do in this area over here. Like I say, we are right smack dab in the middle of a big geo zone. Smith Reynolds Airport is right in this area, so we have to abide by all the rules and regulations here, and there's just certain areas that it will just not let me fly towards. So as I said, this was going to be a test of the RC Pro controller, the most expensive consumer controller that you can get from DJI. It is very well built, offers a lot of different options and customization. The range is pretty good when it comes to city flying. Got a lot of concrete, a lot of Wi-Fi signals, radio signals going through the area. It's pretty rock solid. Gives you a little bit more than the standard RC controller, although the RC controller is pretty good, but I would not be able to get near the distances that I was able to get here with the RC Pro. So we are coming back down, spinning around. We're going to let her auto land. All right, guys, made it back. Got in out of the wind. Had an hour and a half drive home. So here we go. Final thoughts on the day. Let's start with the RC N1. You really can't go wrong with this. It is a fantastic remote, rock solid. It's my backup go-to if something happens with something else. So, you know, the only drawback with this, you gotta have a phone. And not knocking my iPhone, but if you use this with an iPhone, it will dim the screen. The screen will dim because the phone gets warm, and it's going to affect your viewing quality. So if you're going to use this remote, make sure you have an Android-based phone that screen does not dim on. That is my only complaint with this really remote. You could have a few more customizable buttons, but this is a great backup. Sets you back like 150. Comes with most DJI packages as their base package. I don't think you can currently buy this thing standalone right now from DJI. You have to buy it from a third party, but around 150 bucks. Now, the RC. This is a great little remote. Gives you a couple more customizable buttons on the back. And 700 nit screen. Really pretty ergonomic, lightweight. I just don't like the fact that we don't have any external antennas, and sometimes the range, if you're flying around a lot of concrete, a lot of buildings, your range can be affected with this. And I've had several instances where I was trying to get some shots and I would lose signal. The drone would return home and it would just ruin the whole shot. But if you're going to be flying close, you're not going to be in a lot of downtown construction areas or where there's a lot of Wi-Fi interference and such not. That's there's really nothing wrong with this little remote. It'll do you a great job if you're not trying to do any professional filming. You're just a hobbyist. You can also hook up an external mic. If you notice, my mic up here, I'm wearing my DJI mic system, which is fantastic, by the way. You can plug that directly in here to do your volume on your screen recordings, but you have to insert an SD card in the back here because this remote does not have any internal storage You can plug this in here and it will charge your phones. Acts as a little battery. Battery life is pretty decent on this. No real complaints. Just wished it had a little bit brighter screen and those antennas. But usually when I'm using this remote, I'm flying the DJI, the Mini 3 Pro. I usually pair these two together. So if I've got the Mini out, I'm usually using the RC, and they work great together. And 700 nits of brightness is not the brightest, but believe me, it's brighter than your iPhone when it dims down from overheating with the RCN1. But anyway, good remote. Big boy here. This one is triple the price. This one you can get for $309, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. This one's going to currently set you back $11.99 from DJI. 1000 nit brightness, 8 gigabytes internal storage, plenty of programmable buttons, external antennas. I think it has 2 transmitters and 2 receivers. Or is it 2 transmitters, 4 receivers? Don't hold me to that, I'm not exactly sure. 5D button to where you can go through. It's basically an Android, it has an Android operating system on it, so you can download third-party apps. Even watch Netflix on it if you wanted to. I don't know that I would do that, but you can download third-party apps, and it has plenty of storage if you want to put something on it to view later. It also has a SD card where you can add extra memory, and an HDMI port should you wish to maybe showcase for a customer or something and they need a bigger screen. You can plug into this and view your recording right off the TV. It also has a place for the wireless mic to where you can plug in and do your screen recordings right off of the controller. Really can't say anything bad about this except for the price. I would like it to have a little bit more range than what it does. It has just a little bit more than this one, depending on where you're at. But this one just feels more solid in the hand and a brighter screen. And usually if I'm going to use this remote, I'm flying with my Mavic 3. So I usually pair these two together, and this is my go-to backup in case something happens with either one of these two remotes while I'm out. So I hope, guys, that this gave you a little bit of insight. Like I said, I didn't get too technical on the specs and everything on these controllers because I didn't want to tell you a story. But you can't go wrong with any of them. If I had to knock anything about it, I wish we could combine all 3 of the controllers together and just have one with a great range, with a fantastic screen, with the all customizable buttons. That would be perfect. But we don't live in a perfect world, so this is what we have. Maybe one day, DJI, if you're listening, we might can get a 4th controller for this setup that will give us all of those things. But till that happens, here we go. So with all that being said, guys, I hope you liked this video. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I would have loved to have done some more flying, but the geo zones in downtown Winston-Salem, oh, they're just so tight. I mean, it's really hard to get in there and actually do any flying and any maneuvering because of the airport that's close by there. So you have to obey the rules, so you can't do a whole lot. But I did get a little bit for you guys. I hope you like what you've seen. And I'm going to see you guys on the next one.